With Plan B emergency contraception, we're in control of our future. It's backup birth control you take after unprotected sex that helps prevent pregnancy before it starts. It works by temporarily delaying ovulation, and it won't impact your future fertility. Plan B is available in all 50 U.S. states at all major retailers near you, with no ID, prescription, or age requirement needed. Together, we've got this. Follow Plan B on Insta at Plan B One Step to learn more. Use as directed.
Tell me what you're feeling.
This is the podcast that you're going to love.
Hey, what's happening? This is your host Tinto, and before we get started on this week's exciting episode, I'd like to give a shout out to Munashe, who got me 3 generous coffees, and your comment there reads, just keeping my word, Tinto, hope we keep up with the Monday drops. Well, guess what? We are keeping up with the Monday drops because today is Monday and you have a brand new episode. If you'd like to support the podcast in a similar way, please head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/feeling station and give as your spirit leads. Remember, there is nothing too small to support the podcast that you've grown to love. With that out of the way, let's get into this interesting episode about men with muscles. I've always thought that they have a lot going on, but boy, yeah, this one kind of showed me a different side. Won't say too much, so let's get straight into it and enjoy.
Is that a breakup? I think we have a situation right here on Feeling Station.
Hello?
Hi, Tinto.
Hello.
Hi.
Why are you laughing?
I laugh when I'm nervous, so.
Oh, that is interesting. You'll find out in a second. Welcome to the Feeling Station.
Thank you.
For those listening to this podcast for the first time, it's a romantic family and friendship breakup podcast showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give you lessons from their experiences. Now, I hope you find today's story entertaining, but more importantly, meaningful. And if you don't know, the podcast is incredibly popular for 2 main reasons. The first being, I do my best to keep my guests anonymous by giving them a name from the African continent. Are you ready for your name, my friend?
I am. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, so we are in sunny Zambia. And the name that I have for you is Chileshe, which is Chileshe.
Okay.
Right, Chileshe. And what Chileshe means is somebody who laughs or somebody who enjoys laughing. How insane is that? And you're out there busy talking about, the first thing you do when you get onto the phone is you laugh.
This is the perfect name for me. You don't understand.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's the name Chileshe. Hopefully you remember that. And what name are you giving the person that you're going to talk about today?
Okay, so the name is Lord Codlo.
Lord Codlo.
Yeah, but Codlo for short.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever watched The Prestige.
Nope.
It's So it's basically he was basically a master of deception.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, so this Lord we have, Codlo, is a deceptive guy.
Very deceptive.
Okay, cool. And the second reason why the podcast is really popular is they're real life lessons that people walk away with from the story that you're going to share. So what would you like anybody listening to your episode to take away?
A lot.
Ooh.
So I have 8 lessons today.
Okay.
But I think all of them are important.
Right.
Okay. So the first one is learn to be comfortable alone. You can't constantly be in a relationship. You'll never discover who you are outside of a partner.
Yes. Powerful. I like that.
And number 2 is your standards mean nothing if you don't uphold them. Leave at the first sign of disrespect.
Amen. I don't know if that could be extended to any sign of inconsistency. But
Same.
Okay, cool. Number 3.
You cannot change a person. You're not God.
The number of Bob the Builders we've had on the podcast, yeah. People by now should really resonate with that a lot.
Please add me to those.
Yeah.
You're not the exception. A person will treat you the same way they treat everyone else around them.
Ooh. Interesting. Because I know some people, it's quite the opposite.
Is it?
Yeah. And I know there's some parents who will be amazing with people around them. Soon as they get home to their kids, it's completely
Okay.
different.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it from that perspective.
Number 5?
A person who is comfortable in seeing you suffer when they can lighten your load is not your partner.
Louder for those at the back. Please.
Number 6, unequally yoked shows up in so many ways. Number 7, sometimes change your environment. It brings clarity.
Oh, yeah.
And the last one is the only healthy competition in a relationship is who can love their partner more.
Yeah.
Run from the rest.
I really like that last lesson. Yo. Normally what I would do is play all those back, but because there's so many, I'm ready to go into the story because it sounds like it's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, Chilesha, tell me, where did you meet? What are we calling him? Are we calling him Lord Cordlo or are we calling him Cordlo?
I think we can just call him Cordlo for short.
All right, cool. So where did you meet Cordlo and why did you decide to give him a chance with you?
Okay, so I met him in the gym. And how it happened was I was on the treadmill and then he passed by. I looked at my gym partner because I had a gym partner then. And then she looked at me and we were just, I was like, okay. And then
What did you see that you both liked so much?
he's the, when you picture a fit person, he's the example of that.
Yeah?
He's tall, dark, very muscular.
Men's health type of look.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
funny thing is, me and that girl actually used to call him fitness model. So
Nice.
yeah, that was his nickname. So yeah, so we just looked and then we were like, and then we continued with our workout, not knowing that he had noticed me. And then what happened was soon after I finished my session, someone was running to my car and it was him. So that was the very first day I met him. He approached me and he asked for my number. I didn't give him that. I gave him my Instagram and we started speaking from there.
Why didn't you just give him his number? I mean, your number in the first place.
So I'm very particular about my number, even now. So only very close people have my number.
Yeah.
And I keep it very, it's for important people. So until you're inside that circle, you don't get my number.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I develop conversations from other places.
Right.
So we started speaking on Instagram. I liked what he was saying, and you'll find within the story that he's really good with his words. And we seemed like we liked the same things. So number one, fitness and health, that was the first take because I take that very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And life goals, we seemed to be aligned. He said all the things that a girl wants to hear. I'm serious. I want to take this relationship. I'm dating with intention. I don't want to waste your time. I want to get married. And yeah, all the good things that a girl wants to hear. So we were speaking on Instagram for probably 3 weeks. And then we decided to meet.
Hey Feelers, allow me to interrupt you just for a few seconds to remind you that Notes to Feelers is a weekly publication from me where I talk about really, really deep stuff. And so far we've done episodes like lying can be healthy and how the modern dating power dynamics have changed because men want to be chosen too. And more recently, I've done publications about consistency being a trap and 5 signs that your relationship could be over. If these are interesting to you and you want to be a part of the Deep Feelers crew, please click on the link in our bio and choose to receive the Notes to Feelers publication every week. Trust me, you will enjoy this.
So
We decided to meet makes it sound like you both said it at the same time. So I'm assuming he said to you, "Hey, Chileshe, can I see you? Can I meet you?"
yeah, that's exactly what
Mhm.
happened. So I had been a little bit skeptical about meeting up with him because I have this idea that you do not speak to your crushes or you don't meet the people who inspire you because they disappoint you. So I was kind of
Right.
enjoying that whole thing of,
Right. Mhm.
maybe not, right? So eventually I agreed to meet up with him,
Mhm.
and it was electric. It was
Explain what that means.
um, the conversation was flowing. Like I said, he would promise me everything that I wanted. So his exact words were, I've been looking for someone to settle down with. You seem like that kind of person. I'd like to see where this goes, but I am confident that you're going to be my wife.
Mm.
And he was leading me, where we were, it was by the beach. So he was leading me to go a little bit downhill, and then he touched my back, and I felt all my blood rushing to everywhere. So that's when I was like, okay, this is very dangerous territory.
Mhm.
But I just went with the flow, and then he asked me to be his girlfriend. Yeah, that was week 3. He asked me to be his girlfriend. He wanted us to date intentionally. I said yes. And then we sat in his car and he said, okay. He didn't ask to kiss me. He told me he was about to kiss me. So he was just like, I'm about to kiss you now. And then he kissed me. So it was the first time that I had been with a person who was that assertive. I'm gonna do this. Not, can I do this? May I do this?
Mhm.
But it was, I'm gonna do this. And I kind of got a thrill out of it. And yeah, the first kiss was also electric. And then I went home. I had actually gone there with my friend. So the moment I sat in the car with my friend, I told her, I said, this man is gonna be a problem.
You just knew it.
I knew he was gonna be a problem because I had never felt that kind of connection before in my life. Like the touch, the words, everything was just, it seemed perfect at the time. And I always used to say, well, throughout the relationship, the beginning of the relationship, we used to say to each other, where were you all my life? It felt
Mhm.
like we were meant to be together.
Yeah.
So that was the first meet. And then for weeks after that, I was also still avoiding to see him in person because, again, I didn't want to burst that perfect little bubble. But I think probably another 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, we met up again. And this time we were supposed to go on another beach date. We liked the beach. So it was just supposed to be us, food, a bottle of wine at the beach. We did that. And then we went back to his place. And then immediately we got into his apartment. Clothes were off.
Mhm.
Clothes were off. And then we were intimate for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, something, something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but immediately that he said that, I moved closer towards him as if I'm close enough to him, I won't feel shy. He said something that was supposed to make me shy.
Right.
So the moment I just moved towards him, I kind of felt safe because he had a big body. So it just, I felt small next to him.
Mm.
And it made me feel safe in some weird way. But then, unfortunately, this is where the first red flag came about. We wore our clothes after being intimate, and he told me he had a daughter. We had been speaking by now for 2 months. We had been speaking about our future. We had been speaking about our plans, everything. And he only chose the moment after we got intimate to tell me that he had a daughter. And I later on figured out that he could read me, that I am not going to be intimate with a person until I feel like that relationship is going to go somewhere or I'm vulnerable with that person. So him having a daughter was not the problem. Him telling me after we got intimate, after 2 months of us speaking together, was the problem. However,
how had the conversation about the child not come up from your end? Did you at some point ask if he was married in your 2 months?
I didn't ask because in all the times that we spoke, there was no inclination of there is another person, which would be the mother of his daughter or his daughter. And I think it was also from a perspective of, I also don't have a child with someone else. So it was an assumption on my part. But honestly, I just didn't think to ask because I just thought he was single.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask. Because I feel, yes, he ideally should have said, right from the onset so that you know what you're dealing with.
Right.
That omission was a bit...
because before him, I had never been with a person who had a child before.
Yeah. So
it never came to mind for me to ask.
Yeah, it wasn't on your radar.
Now I would ask, but then it just wasn't on my radar, like you said.
That's where I was leading with the question I was going to ask. Well, you may have had an opportunity to ask about a child being in the picture, but you don't ask what you're unfamiliar with.
Exactly.
Because you said now you do ask, to say it's one of the questions at the forefront. Are you with someone? Do you have a child? And then you get the answer.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, like I said, I didn't have a problem with the fact that he had a child, and he made it clear to me that he was not with the mother of his child anymore. To a point where throughout our relationship, it was quite a long relationship, I never had a problem with the mother of his child because she was respectful towards our relationship and I respected her. She was a good woman. I mean, she is a good woman, basically. So I never had a problem with that. But I just felt like, yeah, it took me off guard because I wasn't prepared for it.
In that moment, did you ever think, maybe this is not for me, or?
Immediately, I thought that because I'm really open with the people that I'm with, and him leaving that very important aspect of his life out, it sent like alarm bells in my head, and well, unfortunately, I kind of spoke to my friends about it, and in speaking to them, because I had already slept with him, it was almost like I was trying to convince them that, look, yeah, he didn't tell me, but it's not a big deal. And as I was trying to convince them, I was convincing myself that it's not a big deal. So that was the first thing, the omission of that important information.
For someone who's really good at giving Instagram versus the phone because you got, I don't want to call it a ground rule, but it's a preference. You stuck to it, you executed it. And then you're the same person who's really careful not to meet someone too soon, just in case you don't. What did you say about meeting your people who inspire you? Because they disappoint you?
They'll disappoint you.
So you stuck to that. That seemed to work. You basically strike me as somebody who, if they make up their mind about something, they execute. And it sounds like you entertained the idea of leaving in that moment. What made it so difficult to execute when the relationship was so young?
The fact that I got intimate with him.
Oh, okay. It was the sex.
Yeah. It was purely the sex.
Okay.
If we had not had sex before that particular point, I would have walked away easily. But like I said, he had studied me to know that at that point was the perfect time to tell me.
Right.
Because
he knew that she's going to go.
Yeah, he knew if he told me before then, I was going to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not, because the problem was not the fact that he had a child. The problem was the fact that he told me.
Yeah, after the fact.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, he had studied me enough to know, okay, this is one of these things. She's not going to be intimate with someone if she's not going to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the relationship moved on, and after that, everything seemed daisy. Like I said, one thing we agreed on was planning for our future. So we would speak about what we would do, because we were both in a foreign land. We're from different cultures, different countries, by the way. I just need to point that out now. But we were already making plans of where we were going to move to after we finished what we were doing, because we were in that country for academic reasons. And we were already planning on which countries we want to move to, how we're going to move there. So we had already started making plans for that. Now, we started having problems because it was difficult for him to let go of certain women in his life. The first one being a friend of his from his home country. This was a longtime friend. However, their relationship was, according to him, they had never been intimate. They had never been in a relationship. But the way they spoke was too endearing for my liking.
How did they speak?
Okay, so basically, they would call each other my love, my baby. I love you. You mean so much to me.
Right.
I mean, you can speak like that with your friend, but however, he did tell me of an incident that happened one time that he visited his home country, whereby she came to his hotel room and stripped in front of him. And according to him, he had to walk away because he was trying to save the friendship. So in my head, it was like, okay, so this woman or this girl clearly likes you, but you're the one stopping it from moving forward. And another thing that I didn't like about that particular person or their relationship was that when he told her about me, I think he sent her some photos of us together. And then she was like, oh, but she's not your type. Why would you go for her? So I didn't hear that part of the conversation. What he did then was turn to me and say, babe, send me your photos. Send me those ones from last month or something like that. Because I had done a photo shoot the previous month. Then he sent those ones to her. And then he started giving feedback like, oh, you see, yeah, she's good looking. What? So to me, it was like, are you trying to prove to someone
Bruh.
your type? Like, who is that even? And I hadn't heard about this girl until this point. So then afterwards, she would maybe she would be cooking something, and then she would send him a video of her cooking, and then she would be like, "I know you miss my food."
What?
And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of cooking for you here. Why would she say something like that? And then I asked him about it. I said, why is your relationship this close? And then I don't know what he said to her, but then I then heard he played a voice note in front of me. I think he didn't expect her to say what she was saying, but then the voice note she was saying, why does she feel threatened by me? Doesn't she know that if we wanted to date, we would have dated a long time ago? And I said, shut it down right now. I don't want to hear anything about this girl again, because now you're giving her the impression that I feel threatened by her when I just don't want her disrespecting me.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she was a constant problem in our relationship, because what I later found out was he would keep certain women in his life for the benefits he would get from them. So for her in particular, he could send her on errands for maybe to check up on his daughter or on a business or something like that back home. So he could trust her to do that for him. And he also had two other girls in the country that we were in. One was a source of money. No, let me explain. But yes, yeah, it is like that. So we lived in a country where they couldn't directly get money from their country. So they had certain people who would receive money in their bank accounts.
Oh, right, okay.
Exchange it and get money.
Okay, yeah.
So for this particular girl, because they had a close relationship, he could just tell her to give him money and then he would pay it in a week or 2 weeks or something like that. So when he didn't have money, he would just go to her. Then he would eventually pay it back.
Were there men from his country as well that you knew? Because I'm just trying to find out if you could have asked a guy instead of a girl to do that for him.
I had a connect from his country that he could have used. But like I said, he would keep women around because he knew what he could get from them.
Right.
And the guys wouldn't go for that kind of deal anyway. Yeah, they're very strict about that kind of thing. And then the other one would run errands for him, like maybe if he needed something in their school, or if he needed, it was money related as well. I mean, all these dots are going to connect later.
Okay.
But this girl, like maybe he needs to pay a bill and he doesn't have the money. He would just ask her and say, can you pay this amount to my electricity bill? I'll pay you back later. So this was kind of uncomfortable for me because I wouldn't do that for a guy I don't like, or I'm not in a relationship with, or in general. Why would I do favors for you when you're just a friend or a classmate or anything like that? But we had a lot of fights surrounding that, to a point where he shut all those things down. But he would then get frustrated if he needs to pay a bill, if he needs money and he can't get it. And then he would come back to me and say, you see?
It's your fault.
It's your fault. Because you made me cut out these people who used to help me with these kind of things. Then it kind of festered into verbal abuse. Especially when he would get frustrated about money. It would start with that. You're the person. If it wasn't for you, I could have had this sorted out. If it wasn't for you, I would be fine. But he never used good words. So where I come from, a word like shut up
Yeah.
is rude.
Yeah.
And for him, he tried to explain to me that in their culture, it's not rude. It's just telling someone to be quiet. But I would explain to him that you can't do that around me and my friends or my people because that's rude. And he would act and pretend like he's understood it. But the moment he gets frustrated, he would use words like that.
Yeah.
So with time, I ended up understanding or realizing that he wasn't just abusive to me in that way. He was actually worse with his family, with the
Oh.
mother of his child. And with me, it started off small. It later on got worse and worse to the level of that. But I always used to question him when he would speak to his family. Why are you speaking to them in that tone? Why are you using such language? The mother of his child, the same thing. And especially with the mother of his child, because when he would have those fights with her, it would mean he doesn't have access to speak to his daughter. And I didn't understand that. The whole fact that he could go for months on end without speaking to his daughter. I grew up in a family where my mom and dad are still together. So the concept of a father not being there for the child was foreign to me. Or a mother not being there for the child is foreign to me. Also, I grew up with a stepsister who was older than me. So she was there before my mom. And so I grew up in a blended family, and I didn't even realize I was in a blended family until I was 16 because we were all raised the same. So to me, no matter whether the parents are together or not, there should be attention to the children. And yeah, he didn't have that. I'll give you a very simple example of something that I questioned a lot about him. In our country, things are okay. The country that we were in, things are a lot more expensive than his country. So, for example, maybe let me just give you the scenario. The daughter was asking for a teddy bear, which would have cost less than $5 when you convert it to their currency. Like a huge, beautiful teddy bear would have cost less than $5. In the country that we were staying in, $5 would buy maybe a can of water because all our drinking water we bought that.
Yeah.
And yet he would come to me and complain and say, it was always money issues, right? I can't even buy my daughter a teddy bear because you made me cut out people who help.
Okay.
And then I asked him, how much is a teddy bear? And then he's like, no, that's besides the point. Like he would literally just blow up from nowhere. And he would then pick on the little things. Another example would be, apparently I didn't know how to dish out food. In his house, there were big plates and small plates. I dished out his food in a big plate. However, it was like a T-bone steak, so he didn't have room to move his food and cut his steak and whatever. I dished mine in 2 plates. The steak in one plate and then the chips and salad in another plate, which I then tackled first, then went to my meat.
Yeah.
Right. That was I had I think a 15-minute scolding of how I am not a good woman because I don't know how to dish out food.
Mm-mm.
Am I the person who's supposed to teach you this? Were you not taught about this before you grew up? What kind of a man is going to live with a woman that doesn't even know how to dish out food?
Mm.
He belittled everything I did, from laundry. Okay. Why did you leave the laundry out for so long? Because now look, my blacks have turned a little bit brown. What kind of a person doesn't know how to take out laundry or what time to take out laundry? I blame myself for doing the laundry in the first place because he should have been doing his own laundry. Because if he had done his own laundry, he wouldn't have been shouting at me.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, he would make me feel like I need to do all the wifely duties because he's in a relationship with me and he dropped every other girl, remember? Every other girl to be with me. So because he's with me, I need to give him 100% of myself. A year in, we would have our good days, would have bad days, but a year in, he was acting really funny. Going out a lot more than he used to, spend the day out. And one of the days he came back and I saw the shape of a box, an engagement ring box in his back pocket.
How would you describe it as an engagement ring box? It could be any sort of box.
No, it cannot be any other box.
Yeah.
The shape of that box is very distinct. It cannot be any other box.
Right.
So I then spoke to my friends. I was like, wait, I think this man is about to propose because I saw a box. And then my friends were like, you know what? You're just overthinking things. I mean, like he would have told you, I mean, you would have had this discussion, right? And then I kind of brushed it off, but then I called my mom. I said, Mom, I feel like something is about to happen because his birthday was it was the week after that. I said, I feel like something's about to happen because I don't know. I think I saw a box. And then she was like, oh, okay, we'll see. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But how do you feel about it? I was like, I'm not sure, but I think I'm okay.
Why weren't you confident? Because as far as this story goes, so far he's starting to shout at you, he's treating people around him badly. He's got women around him all the time. You sound like you should have been out there.
Exactly. But okay, so there are two things that were involved in this. The first was, like I said, he used to guilt trip me into being trying to mold me into the perfect woman because of the people he cut out of his life. And the second thing is he always used to bring it in my head that no other man is going to like you. Remember when I said he was good with his words? It wasn't just to charm you, but it was also to change your mindset in a certain way. Because to me, it was like, well, if it's not him, which other man is going to like me? Because he's constantly telling me, I can't dish out food. I can't do laundry. I can't do this. And growing up, I grew up quite confident about all of the things he was complaining about. But then because we are from different countries and different cultures, he would always try and point out that, yeah, maybe that can fly people from your culture. Also, I didn't grow up with brothers. I only have sisters.
Right.
So he would say, yeah, but you never grew up with brothers. How would you know what men want? Because although I have a very good relationship with my dad, I would never speak about relationships with my dad. So he kind of understood that, well, this girl doesn't have a male perspective, so I can be her male perspective. And the male perspective he gave me was, yeah, you're good. I mean, you work hard and you have good grades and all of that, but you're not a good woman yet. I'm trying to mold you into a good woman. And another thing he would also say was, yeah, you're book smart, but you're not street smart. And because I'm more academically inclined, I'd be like, maybe, he would make me doubt myself so much. I lost so much of my self-confidence within this relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So when I said I wasn't sure, it wasn't that, okay, this is the best person for me to spend the rest of my life with. It was, well, but if it's not him, probably no one else is going to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so a week later, what I predicted was going to happen happened. But I don't know if he created this scenario on purpose, but it was supposed to be an intimate birthday dinner for him. And then it ended up being a whole bunch of his friends there. Like it was something really huge. And I had always told him that I wanted an intimate proposal. So just me and him, probably a photographer or something like that. But I didn't want an engagement where there's a crowd. And then he did the total opposite. So when he was down on one knee, everyone was shouting, say yes, say yes.
Yeah.
Everyone, including the restaurant staff. So, I said yes. And the moment he hugged me after I said yes, he was shaking because he knew I was going to say no. He was literally shaking. I was like,
Did you say yes to save him embarrassment?
I did, him and myself. And that very evening, we had a discussion about it. And I told him, I need to give you your ring back because we're not ready for this, number one. And number two, this is not the proposal that I wanted. And the next thing he said to me was, do you know how much I spent on this ring? Do you know how much I spent
okay, here we go.
Right. So it again goes back to the money. And I then found out later on as the relationship went that everything was centered around money. The first time he visited my apartment, because all this time I would go to his apartment. He had never come to mine. The first time he visited my apartment, the first thing he asked me was, how much do you pay here?
Yeah.
To me, that it felt uncomfortable because I would never ask a person how much they pay for their rent.
Yeah.
Anytime I would gift him a birthday gift or Valentine's gift, how much was it? Birthdays are really important to me. So I plan my birthdays. A hotel stay or something else like that. At the end of that, he would ask me, how much was that? Everything was centered around money, but I didn't understand why at that particular moment. So yes, the whole proposal thing was, do you know how much I spent on this? Can't give me my ring back. That's so disrespectful. And apparently, in the whole relationship, I was disrespectful. Anytime I questioned anything, I was disrespectful. Anytime I asked him something that would make him uncomfortable, I was disrespectful. Again, because you don't have brothers. So because you speak like this to your sisters, it doesn't mean you can speak like this to a man. So I'm trying to teach you so you can be a good wife, a good partner for me. So everything, my I'm pretty outspoken about a lot of things, but I lost my voice basically in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then when something happened, for example, yeah, these conversations, like I was saying, that first girl from his country, I would see, okay, there's a notification coming from this girl. You told me you're not speaking to her anymore.
Yeah.
Then I would ask him, wait, isn't that let's call her Susan.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that Susan?
Mm.
Then he would say, don't you know that even if you want to ask me something, you have to think of where my mind is at that particular time, because I might be planning something in my head and then you ask me something different and then I lose my train of thought. So you should ask me, you should keep these things and then ask me these things first thing in the morning.
Hmm.
Okay, I try to ask first thing in the morning. These are not the kind of things that you ask me to start the day, because once you ask me something like this, then my whole day is going to be ruined. So you cannot ask me these kind of things first thing in the morning.
Mm.
So again, he was molding me to not ask at all,
Yeah.
because there was never a right time to ask. And even the way I asked was disrespectful. How can you ask me about a woman? Are you trying to say that I'm cheating on you? Are you trying to say that I don't have respect for myself,
Yeah.
that I will cheat on you, or I don't respect you, that I will cheat on you? Like you don't have respect. That was the whole chat. You don't have respect, and you're making me lose money. You don't have respect, and you're making. Okay, so at this particular time, I didn't have a full-time job. Neither did he. But I did have a part-time job that, well, could take care of what I needed.
Mm.
Every time, at some point, he understood the day I would get my money from my part-time job, because it would be a once a month payment. How he figured it out would be, okay, I'm going grocery shopping, because I would do a monthly shop.
Mm.
Or I would get my hair done, or get my nails done. So within that week, he then understood that, okay, this girl gets paid in this particular week, because I didn't get paid at the end of the month. Yeah. Anytime he figured out that I had money is when he would ask to use money for something. Can you give me, let's say £20? I need to get my hair cut. Can you give me this amount? I need to send it there. I'll give you next week. Can you give me this? I'll give you when you need to do your grocery shop, or when you need to do something, you can ask it from me.
And would he give this money back?
He would.
Okay.
However, it would be a mission to get the money. Number one. Okay, you're asking for the money. Yeah, I'll give it to you later on in the day. And then, because I've probably made an appointment, I'm asking, well, can you give me the money? Do you have the money yet? Now you're starting to nag me. I said I would give you the money. Why are you asking me for this money? This is my money, by the way.
Mm.
Or it would be, yeah, it would just be a mission to get the money. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I would even be fearful to ask for my own money, because I knew scolding.
Yeah. Mm.
And what I later realized was he wanted me not to have money at all times.
Right.
So him asking me for this money was not because he didn't have money. He wanted me to finish the money I had first, then have to ask him for my money back.
Yeah.
For things that I needed.
Right.
We had a particular fight about another girl. This girl was, I don't know what their relationship was, in like where it went. I just know at a particular point they were flirting before he met me, but he then had a conversation with her. I asked him, wait, weren't you flirting or weren't you about to get into a relationship with this girl before you started speaking to me? Somehow that conversation got so heated that he threw a bottle of water in my direction.
Okay.
I've told you not to ask me things like this because you're being disrespectful. I'm trying to explain to you that this was something that I needed for business. How would it be something you need for business? Your business is back in your country. How would you speaking to a person who is in this country, who's not even from your country, be for business? You see, now you're asking me too many questions. You're being disrespectful. So in that back and forth, he then threw a bottle in my direction. And I froze. So he said a lot of things. I heard nothing because I just froze. I was just looking at him. And in my mind, if I thought anything, I was going to speak. And if I spoke, it wasn't just going to be a bottle thrown in my face. So I literally just had to, I stood still. I froze. I didn't think anything. I didn't say anything. He finished shouting. I went into the room. He followed me. He apologized. That was the first time I felt completely unsafe with him. And I think it registered at the back of my mind that this is the beginning of the end.
Right.
I think it was now the second year of us being together. By the way, he proposed to me about a year after we met. For me, that was really quick because we had a lot of things to iron out. But I later on realized that it was him trying to secure something.
Yeah. So that proposal happened. You had the conversation to say, no, I need to give this back to you. Do you know how much it cost me? Blah, 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 blah. Did you stop wearing the ring? Did you ever wear the ring?
I wore the ring because anytime I didn't wear the ring, he would ask me where his ring was.
So how did that conversation then end? I don't know if we skipped over that or in terms of, you said one thing that I need to give you this back, but I don't think we got into the, okay, so I was like, cool, I'll do it. And I don't want to get into it, but just want to kind of know what happened there.
Okay, so you'll find that with all of our conversations, all of them, we never got to a conclusion. It would always be, it would be my opinion, and then it would be overruled by, this is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So this was the same thing. You cannot give me back my ring because this is how much I spent on it. This is how much I spent on this whole event. So you cannot give me back my ring. You see, this is you being disrespectful.
So in not giving back the ring, what were you? Were you now a fiancé?
I was a fiancé.
Even though mentally you were not a fiancé, you were a fiancé for show.
For sure. For sure.
To the world.
To the world.
So when people say, oh, how do you feel? Hey, blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so flattered and blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I can only imagine what that did to you internally.
I lost myself a lot in this relationship, but it got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. Okay.
So speaking of the ring and how much he spent on it, we went to the jeweler who sold him this ring because he wanted to get something else for himself. And out of curiosity, I just saw another ring, which, it's a unique ring. Let me just describe it that way. It's really unique. And I tried it on just to see. And then I went outside to look at it with the sun and everything. So by the time I got inside, he was like, do you want that ring? And then I said, no, I'm fine with the ring that I have, because my engagement ring was like a proper engagement ring. This was out of the box, really unique. So it was just this would be a cool ring. And then he said, "Do you want that ring?" I said, "No, I'm fine with the ring I have." And then he's like, "No, if you want it, you can get it." Like, really? And then so he was now saying to the jeweler, "Okay, so how much am I supposed to give you for this ring?" He now said, the jeweler now said, the one you bought was, I think it was 120 pounds or something like that. I said, "Is this the money you were saying? Do you know how much I spent on this ring that you were shorting it?"
Are you throwing shade right now, Chileshe? What is going on here?
No, because he shouted at me saying he spent a lot of money on this ring. So I expected it to be at least a lot more than 120 pounds. So then the jeweler said, "Okay, for this ring, you can add another maybe 100 pounds like that, and you can get this ring." I was like, so I even sat in the car and I was like, "You've been shouting at me for not wearing this ring. You shouted at me for telling you I wasn't ready for this because of an amount. I just didn't think it would be this amount." Anyway, moving on from that, with time. So this was now 2 years after we met, after we started, after we were in a relationship. With time, I started growing in my faith. And okay, one thing that actually bound us together within the relationship, no matter how much we fought, was the moment we were intimate, we would be fine. And he understood that. So anytime we were in a fight, one thing he would say was, "Okay, we've been in a fight, but we're gonna sleep in the same room. We're not gonna sleep in different rooms, no matter how much we are fighting. Whether we've resolved the issue or not, we are gonna sleep in the same room." So us sleeping in the same room would eventually lead to us being intimate.
Right, yeah.
And it's, there's something about giving your body to someone. You release most of the anger you have with them, or all of the anger you have towards them. Or that's how it works with me. So yeah, it would kind of go away, and then maybe it would resurface in 3 days if something happens. But at that particular point, that was the glue that held us together. But after that, I started growing in my faith. And in growing in my faith, I didn't want to be intimate anymore, because I had a personal conviction that because we were not married yet, yes, we were engaged, but we were not married yet, I shouldn't be giving my body to him. This was a difficult move because, like I said, he was very attractive.
Yeah.
And of course, I would look at him and I would want to be intimate with him, but I would stop myself. However, when he would then make his advances toward me, I would give in. Consensually at first.
Oh, okay.
However, the deeper I grew with my faith, or the more I grew within my faith, the more convicted I was that I was not supposed to be intimate with him. And he could go for maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. He would understand it. And then one day he would just say, I'm really frustrated and I understand this is against your faith, but could you please help me out? It would start with, let's just kiss. But I knew what a kiss would lead to. Let's just kiss.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the moment I would say stop, he'll be like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And like, it's just this one time. God will forgive you. So the first time that happened, I didn't speak, not to him, not to anyone else, for like maybe 2 hours or 3 hours. I was just sitting there quiet. And he could see that I was feeling extremely guilty about sleeping with him.
Yeah.
And then he came, he apologized. He said, look, I understand the kind of journey you're on. And I am, basically, I'm not going to do this again. The second time this happened, immediately after he finished, I started crying. And his reaction was laughing. He laughed because he said, is this the new way of you trying to keep me off you by crying? I never felt so it was a huge betrayal, not only to me but to what I believed in, because he was literally just laughing like, what's the problem? We've been intimate before. So what are you crying about now? I felt so violated, and that was another addition to Chileshe. You need to leave. I feel like the more I grew like in my faith, the more the word or the Bible or God was opening up my eyes that this is not the man for you. Not only because, I mean, he was a Christian. He's a Christian. But it wasn't the fact that he didn't believe what I believed in, but it was the fact that he didn't respect me enough to be my partner. So after that incident, I had a problem with my landlady, which I not later on discovered, but at that particular time in the country we were living in, we used multiple currencies. And the currency that I was using to pay her rent was falling under pounds. So other people paid in pounds, other people paid in the currency of that country. So the moment my contract expired, because I had a 2-year contract with her, the moment my contract expired, she was trying to push me out so she could get someone who would then pay in pounds. And while we were going through that process, I realized that she used to consume drugs. So one day it would be, we were having a good discussion. Okay, yeah, I can start paying in pounds. Let's draw up a new contract. And then the next evening she would be like, I told you to get out of my house. And she'd be frantic about it. And there was a man that she always used to come with. He would then try and calm her down. And fortunately for me, in that country, she couldn't just kick me out because I had a contract with her. And even then, because my stuff was still in the house, I kind of had the upper hand. But because I then realized that she was consuming drugs, I saw that it wasn't physically safe for me to keep on staying in her house. So whilst I was looking for a house, I would temporarily move in with him and then get another house. At the point where I wanted to move out, he started convincing me that, wait, if we live together, then we can share the rent, we can share the bills, and it would be easier for us to save. Remember, we were making plans to leave this place. If we save, we can use that towards moving to a different country, or doing a course that will allow us to move to a different country. So a month turned into 2 months, turned into 3 months, turned into 4 months, and we were now officially staying together. To a point where his new lease now included me. So again, because I'm in a foreign country, I need to have my name on a lease for me to have my permit that I was using at that time. So we're living together and things start changing because he starts consuming what people call red pill content.
Okay.
So this is the content where men call themselves alpha males and the women are just gold diggers, and they have lost their place in life. They want to be equal to men, but they cannot be equal to men, and they are anti-feminist. They don't understand the fact that they don't want equality, and they feel like feminism is an attack against men, and not what it really is. So how I figured out that he had started consuming this content, not because he was consuming it in front of me, but one day, remember we met in the gym? One day I was dressing up to go to the gym, and we would go to the gym together, by the way, because now we're living together, right? He said to me, "Where are you going with your cheeks out like that?" Mind you, I've been with this man for over 2 years. He has never used the word cheeks in his life. And then he asked me, "Where are you going with your cheeks out?" Immediately, I realized, okay, there's something influencing what he's asking me. I don't want to get into a fight. I just threw on an oversized t-shirt. Then we left for the gym. Because I didn't address it, I think maybe he got embarrassed about it or something like that. Because the very next day, I was wearing what I normally wear. He didn't say anything about it. That was the last I heard of that. But yeah, it really registered in my mind that, okay, yeah, something is really off about what he's doing now, or what he's listening to now, or what he's consuming now. So God had it, or the devil had it, or the devil and God were working together to have it. So I got sick.
Okay.
I got really sick. I was in the hospital for 30 days, in the ICU for 2 weeks, and then the rest of it I was out. And it was something so unexpected, and even up to now, I don't know what caused it, but I believe it's God that made that happen, because other than that, I'm a really healthy person.
Yeah.
So that's when I actually saw his true colors. When you hear people giving advice and whatever, they always say you only know who a person is when they're broke or when you're sick.
True. the broke part, yeah, I know. When they're sick, I didn't know about the sick one. But
not
broke,
when they're
yes.
sick. When you're sick as their partner. Yeah. That's when you'll know their true colors. So I'm in hospital. I'm trying to get better. I know nothing about what's happening in the outside world because, again, I'm in the ICU. So definitely I don't have my phone. He's coming to visit me. he only has one visit a day, which is 10 minutes because, again, I'm in the ICU. And then by the time I get out of the ICU, I'm okay. He doesn't want to give me my phone in the beginning. And then he's like, yeah, because I want you to concentrate on getting better. You're not supposed to be in here for too long. I mean, it's really difficult for me to be driving every day to come and see you. So maybe 5 days after I was in the ICU, he then said, can you ask your mom for money? I said, why am I asking her for money? He's like, it's been difficult, me driving back and forth. I said, okay, but before I left, there was money in the house. And I know how much fuel costs. Is there anything you need money for? I was like, no. Oh, by the way, the hospital that I was in, I didn't have to pay a dime because it's a public hospital and I had a permit. So the moment you have a permit, you can use the public hospital for free.
To get treatment, yeah.
Yes. So I didn't understand why I need to start asking for money from my mom. So then I did. I said, so she couldn't send it to me because I had no way to actually get it. So she was sending it to him. So remember I said that before I left, there was money at the house.
Yeah.
And that money was money that I would put aside for rent. So that by the time, because it was a monthly payment, by the time the rent is due, the rent is there. I got discharged from hospital. And within 2 days of me being discharged, he tells me he didn't pay the rent for the month that I was in hospital. And the upcoming rent. So basically, I got out of hospital on the 30th. And we only had the 31st and rent was due on the 1st. So he told me on the 1st. So 2 months rent was due. I asked him, why? How? What about the money that I had set aside? Well, I used it. How? To do what? I was coming to see you every day. Okay, this would cost this amount of money. Now I'm being disrespectful. Are you trying to tell me how much it costs to drive to this place every day? Do you know how much I was spending? I said, okay, how much were you spending? No, you're questioning me. That's so disrespectful. Okay. I later find out that because he was in communication with my family, he was telling them that the hospital needed this, the hospital needed that. That's why he didn't want to give me my phone immediately after I got out of the ICU. Then I asked him, how much was my family sending you? And then he was like, well, they sent me this. Now, with the money I had left and with the money that they sent, and then let's put in fuel and maybe another £100 for miscellaneous expenses. We would still have had the 2 months rent just from that money alone. What about from your side? Like, what were you doing whilst I was in hospital? Because I couldn't work, but what were you doing? No, okay, up to today, I have no idea where that money went, because me asking to him was disrespectful, and that was being inconsiderate and ungrateful for everything he was doing while I was in hospital. Fine. Okay, you've told me this. So I call 2 of my friends, very close friends of mine. And I tell them, you know what? I just got out of hospital. I haven't been working, so could you give me a loan for this amount of money and I'll pay you back. I'll be paying you back monthly. Me and my friends have a relationship like that because we've covered each other in the past with different things. But besides that, we just have a good relationship. So there's no way that I would be in a situation like that and they wouldn't come through for me. So they did. Immediately after I told him that I've gotten the money for the rent, no,
Can I have some money?
I got an earful.
No.
Why would you ask your friend?
You
want your friends to know that I don't have money. So you want your friends to think that you're the one who's working to keep the lights on in this house, to pay the rent. Because now that you couldn't work for a month, we're now asking for it. Who did you want me to ask from? So remember when I was in hospital, he was in communication with my family. He was in communication with my mom. He realized that, okay, money can come from here. So when he said, get a loan, he expected me to go and ask my mom, someone who's been sending money all this time. And by the way, she was also working on her visa to come and see me because I had been sick all this while. But she literally got her visa a week after I was discharged. So now she has to buy tickets. She has to, so many things were on her, on top of the stress that her child is in a foreign country and sick.
Yeah.
And then he said, you could have asked your mom. So in my head, it registered, I don't know what it is, but you can be abused financially, physically, verbally by a person, and you will not see it. But the moment they do that to someone you love, immediately you clock it. And that's exactly what happened at that moment. I said, how inconsiderate can you be to want me to ask her when you know what she's going through? By the way, at that point, even her boss had told her not to come to work because she was looking so frail from the stress of me being in hospital.
Yeah.
So this is the person I'm supposed to ask from when I could ask from my friends. But you asking your friends means you're telling them or you're showing them that, yeah, you're the one who was basically paying majority of the bills in this house. Okay, so that was the first thing. Very extremely disrespectful for you to ask for your friends. Yeah, and on the other hand, he had a point because my friends, after we broke up, this is just foreshadowing, but after we broke up, my friends were like, yeah, the moment you asked us for it when you got out of hospital, we were just like, this one is useless.
We knew. Yeah.
So anyway,
Yep.
after that, like I said, my mom finally got the visa. She came. But I was supposed to book a B&B for both of us. And so she sent the money for that. And then she sent extra for fuel to go and get her from the airport. So now the complaint was, why didn't you tell her the money for fuel was more? Because now she's only sent money for maybe 3/4 of a tank.
Yeah.
And mind you, just to go to the airport would be like 1/8 of the tank. Going and coming back would be 1/8 of a tank. So even after we picked her up, came back and did a lot of rounds, like maybe 3, 4, 5 days with the car, the fuel was still on half tank. But you still shouted at me because I could have asked for more or told her the fuel was more. Why am I lying? Because you want money. Anyway, she comes, and then because we're living in a B&B, we had to go grocery shopping. We're shopping for groceries, Then he writes in his notes a little list of things he wants me to buy. And then he shows me the list. And then at the bottom of the list, it's written, if you can pick these things up for me too, that would be very helpful, whatever. So I picked it up, and even when we were packing, I packed his things on the side. And my mom could see that, okay, all right. So, she was now questioning a lot of things like, oh, okay, what's going on here? But she didn't say anything because she was grateful that, okay, he was there when I was sick. He's the one who was doing the running or whatever. So we've done this, right? He has the groceries and everything. That evening, he sends me this long paragraph of how I don't care what he's gonna eat, what he's going through, how he's gonna survive. I asked him, what do you mean I don't care what you're gonna eat? We just bought groceries for you. And then he was like, yeah, I just feel like you're the kind of person that would never stand with their man. I was so confused because I literally made sure that the time that I'm away, you have things to eat and consume and you're fine. So I don't understand where this is coming from. I unfortunately don't have that text anymore because as time went on, I hadn't been able to work for maybe the next month. So I had to sell that particular phone, and I hadn't backed up my chats or anything like that. So I don't have.
You sold that phone to get some money?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't back up that, but that was a really revealing text of the kind of manipulation he had. But I still have some of the parts in my head. He was saying that you're not the kind of woman that would stand by their man or make sure that their man is good when the man is trying to still hustle and whatever. But it was surprising to me because I had literally made sure that he's good for the time that I'm outside of the house. So I just simply replied to him, right now, I'm focusing on my mom being here and recovering. We can talk about this after she leaves. And then he just left it at that. So my mom left, and for the next month, that the next month is the time that I had to sell my phone to get money for the rent because he still wasn't doing anything at this point. And I couldn't get back to work immediately. This was the month that Diddy got arrested.
Oh, okay. Right.
So I'm trying to recover, and I'm always watching Diddy updates. And then we are now having conversations around that case. He said, like, I could now understand his mindset more from everything that was happening and that case, because one thing he said was, out of all the people who were supposed to come out and speak about Diddy's abuse, Cassie was not the one who was supposed to come out. Why? Because she benefited monetarily from Diddy. You see, everything is still centered around money. Because of all the money that Cassie got, because of all the parties she went to, because of all the people that he connected her to, out of all the people, she was not supposed to be the one to come out. But she's the only one who had video evidence of what happened with the hotel and everything. And also her coming out gave the other ladies courage to actually come out. If not for her case, everything else would not have had the domino effect that it had. Yeah. But my whole thing is, you have a daughter. How would you even say that a woman shouldn't come and speak out
Yeah.
about her abuse?
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yep.
No matter what she benefited from the relationship, no matter, why would you say a woman should not come and speak out about her abuse?
Mm.
I spoke to him about this. I said, no, I don't understand why you would say this. And then the more he kept talking, the more I understood that his mindset is something I cannot gel with at all. And I said, you know what? Maybe let's not continue this conversation. And then he kept on saying, no, because Cassie, like she wanted this. Yeah, she was enjoying the drugs. She was enjoying the money. I said, you know what? Can we please cut this conversation off? No. He kept on going. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to have this conversation. So I stood up and I walked to the room. He followed me to the room and he started shouting at me, "You're a rubbish girl. So disrespectful. How can you walk out on me when I'm speaking to you? What kind of a woman are you? So because I'm giving you an opinion that you don't like, you just walk out on me? Such a rubbish girl." And I just looked at him. I said, "Oh, rubbish girl. Okay." And then he walked out. I think 10, 15 minutes later, he came back and he apologized. This was his routine, by the way. He would verbally abuse me. Then 30 minutes later, he'll come back and apologize. And anyway, that Diddy trial as well, I just understood that he doesn't view a girl child the same way he views a boy child. And if ever we will have to have daughters together, in fact, I even felt kind of hurt or sorry for his daughter because I don't know, let me not assume for him, but with the way my father stood up for me when I was growing up, I didn't see that happening for that girl with the mindset that he had. But also, people are different with their own children and other people's children, so
yeah,
it might be different. So, as things played out, a month after I sold my phone, I then got another job. So I got a new job. A month after that, I finished everything I needed to do to finish my academics in that country. So I graduated and I started planning to come back to my home country. This was a big problem because you have finished, but I haven't finished. So why are you leaving? We're supposed to be in this together.
And how much time did he have left to finish?
Maybe 6 more months.
Okay, yeah.
And the way this country worked, you only have your permit when you are a student or you're working. So once you graduate, you literally have, I think, 30 days after you graduate, and then you have to leave.
Wow.
Literally.
They don't play like that, huh?
No, they don't. Because I think if there was employment in the country, they would allow you to maybe stay for a year whilst you work and probably get a work permit or something like that.
Yeah.
But for example, I graduated in June. My student permit was expiring in September. So I only had until end of October to leave. So yeah, I started planning on leaving, but this was a huge problem. To a point where there was one day we were having a conversation and he said, okay, so you've gotten what you want in life, right? You have your new job and you've graduated. He wasn't saying it in a, oh, you've got what you wanted, right? It was in a, oh, it was so bitter. Like he was angry or resenting me because I'm moving on or I'm getting some success in my life. And I asked him blatantly, I said, "Are you not happy for me?" And then he said, "Why would you even say that? Why wouldn't I be happy for you? I'm really hurt that you would think that way. But you can tell from a person's tone whether they're happy for you or they're bitter or they're resentful. And that's what I picked up from what he said. So anyway, I fixed everything. I was about to leave, and I think the day before or 3 days before I was about to leave, he said, yeah, so could you leave me your bank card?
What is okay? Was this guy working? Did he have a job?
Okay, so what he did was he had an apartment building in his country, and they would pay yearly rent. So he would get a lump sum of money at a particular time, and then he was supposed to use that money for the rest of the year. So he would try and make investments here and there. At some point, he was trying to go get into farming. He was trying to get into trucks, but the bulk amount of his income would come from that rental place.
Right. So he wasn't actually working. He was just kind of living off.
Exactly. So if at any point he mismanaged that money, then that's where all these other problems would come up, where he needs to pay an electricity bill and he can't. He needs to pay this and he can't. To a point where when I got the job I got after I got out of hospital, because I was working part-time, it was good because it would pay the bills, but it wasn't great. So to a point where when I got the full-time job that I was working, he said, "Oh, this is such a relief." At that point, I really looked at him, and because there was no congratulations, there was no, "I'm so proud of you." It was just, "This is such a relief." And then I knew. And the next question he asked me is, "How much is your salary?" Or "How much is your salary going to be?" And I told him a quarter of the amount. I told him a quarter of the amount. So unfortunately, that quarter of the amount would cover all the bills. So since I got that job, nothing came from him. Absolutely nothing came from him. I was doing everything in the house. Everything. And so my first pay would have been in June. And he was expecting like his yearly payment in August.
Yeah, so not too far off, yeah.
Yeah, so I was expecting that, okay, in August, you're going to be, helping out, or you're going to take over these 2 months so that I can relax and do something else. He said to me, now is not the time to, this was in August, now is not the time to be saving. We need to make sure that we're good over here. And then we can think about saving later. That was only directed at me, because after saying that to me, I would hear him on calls with people in his country making investments. Okay, can you buy this land? We're gonna be planting this particular crop, which is very popular in their country there. Or can you go and reinvest this money in this? He was making investments basically, but I was being told I need to take care of us. This was not the time to save. But obviously, because I'm a sharp girl, I was saving 75% of my salary because I had only told him a quarter. But that also meant that I was living like below my means, and I was literally looking like my struggle. Those last months, I was looking like my struggle, because there was no way I would then say, "Oh, I'm going to get this done, or I'm doing this," or because then he would clock that, okay, there's more money there. So I needed to make him just feel like that's like the last cent that I have. So yeah, so 3 days before I leave, he said, could you leave me your bank card?
I could have guessed what was going to come out of your mouth there.
What did I say?
Bank card, you know, could you leave me? It was either going to be my bank card or some money. Jeez, man.
I said, why would I do that? And then he said, because you're going to be at home. I said, okay. So basically in his head, because I moved back with my parents, because I'm going to be at home, all the expenses are going to be on my parents. And all the money that I'm working for, he's going to spend with my card. I said, no, I can't do that because I'm going to have expenses at home. If anything, I'll send you something if you need something. Then he was just like, oh, okay. In his head, he was so convinced that anything he would tell me to do, I would do it. Because in the last months, that's exactly what I was doing. All the asking questions and talking back and asserting myself. I had stopped doing that the moment I knew that I was going to leave.
Right. Because there's no value in doing it now.
There was, because I'm just wasting my time. I know I'm going to leave anyway. And I only told him I was going to leave probably 6 weeks before I was going to, but I had bought my ticket maybe 3 months prior. So all this time, I was just making sure all my documentation was fine before I left and everything, the move would be fine with my work and everything. So anytime he would do something crazy that I would probably fume about before, I would just look at him like, oh, okay. Yeah, just a few more months. And that's what actually got me through the final months of with him. But I ended up moving home with my bank card.
Yes.
And then I think a month after I was here, he asked me for assistance financially. So, okay. So remember I said with my part-time job, he knew the week
that you
I
get
would
paid. Yeah.
With this new job, he knew the exact day I would get paid because that's the day I would then pay the landlord. Because I then spoke to the landlord, I can't pay you on the 1st, I can pay you on this day. So, okay, even before I left, because all the bills were on me, I would suggest for him, can you do this course? Because I did a particular course to get the job that I got. Remember, I got the job a month before I graduated. So I wasn't qualified for this job before I got it. But I would encourage him, do this course. He wouldn't do it. Okay, let's move to a smaller place, a more affordable place. He didn't want to move because obviously all the bills were on me. So why would he then be in discomfort when he doesn't need to be? And then he would always say, well, also moving would require us to get maybe a moving company, a moving truck. It would be stressful to move and we would have to pay an agency fee. So it would be more expensive for us to move than to stay. But all those expenses would be then covered basically because we're now paying less rent. But he didn't want to move. Tell me why the week I got home, this man moved.
Bruh.
It didn't take him 7 days.
Wow.
Because he understood that this girl is not going to be paying my bills.
Therefore,
I need to, the things I had been suggesting for 4 months. I was struggling for 4 months where you could have made things better. But you chose to watch me suffer, work my back out, and you wouldn't help. Not with, okay, you're not helping financially, but even with cooking. I would cook a batch of food over the weekend. At some point, his hunger just, I don't know, multiplied. I don't know what happened to his appetite. By the time we get to midweek, the food is finished. So that means on top of working, the job I'm working, I am still cooking.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there, you're watching whatever content you're watching. You're not even taking the course I'm telling you. Okay, like right now, this course is really good. People are getting jobs in this field. This is how I got this job. You're not even doing it. I'm asking him repeatedly, have you started? Yeah, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. So it really wasn't the fact that, okay, you don't have money right now. It's the fact that you're not making any effort to get money. You're not making any effort to do better. You're not making any effort to make my life easier since I'm the one who's bringing the money. So anyway, yeah. About 5 days after I left, he moved out. The thing that I was suggesting for months prior, and he asked me for assistance. But how did he ask? He said, please tell me you got paid on the day that I get paid. Please tell me you got your money, because I need to make up with the guy he had used to move or something. I paid the rent and the bills, but I still need to pay this guy some money. And I asked him, okay, did you ask me what I'm using the money for? And then he said, well, no, I thought we would have a conversation. So you would tell me what you need the money for. But, things are tough here. So basically he was trying to say, yeah, things may be hard for you, but they are tougher here. So that money should be redirected to me. Because I don't know. And don't laugh. Because I have such a big heart. I decided to send him a little bit of money.
I know you gave a disclaimer, but you can't use words like that to say because I have such a big heart, right? Okay, go on. Hit me with this line. Let me hear this.
So then I sent him, I think I sent him like $150 or something. And then a day after I sent that money, okay, so the day I sent him, he was like, oh, thank you. I don't even know how you're handling things on your side, but thank you so much for sending this. The next day, he said to me, yeah, I know you're helping out with the bills, but the communication is really bad. Like a woman, as a woman, even though you are helping out financially, you need to also make an effort in the relationship for your man.
So by this point, you guys are now doing long distance.
We're now doing long distance.
Yeah.
This is probably maybe 5 weeks since I've gone back. Yeah, it's over 5 weeks because I'm just calculating when his birthday is, but it was over 5 weeks because his birthday we were still together, but probably 2 weeks after that. Do you know that was the last straw? I said to him, okay, first of all, the hours I work. I'm probably sleeping most of the time. What is your suggestion on how we can improve this communication? And he said, I don't know, but you should just do better. I said, okay, since you don't have a solution, I'm telling you now, I don't have the capacity to be in a relationship right now. Because what I'm doing is not enough. I'm working and you want a piece of the money that I'm working for. Communicating as best as I can. Because when we couldn't talk, I would send a voice note. I would send a text, and he would send a one-word answer back because he says he prefers calls. But it was It was not impossible, but it was difficult for us to have calls during the week. Over the weekend, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But the time he would be asleep, I would be awake. But our time zone was just crazy. But for him to say that to me when I was in a place where I was surrounded by love,
Yeah.
where I was in a place where people accommodated me, people tried to make sure that I was okay. For him to say, as a woman, you are supposed, I said to him, I don't have the capacity anymore, because what you need for me right now is for me to work for both of us and for me to make the effort in the relationship for both of us. Do one, pick one.
Yeah. Mm.
And then he said, wait, so are you breaking off the engagement?
I'd
said,
forgotten
yes.
you were engaged. Okay.
The shock in his voice made me understand that that engagement was what he thought I was holding on to all this time.
Mm.
Because to him, it was like, I have given you the honor of being a fiance.
Mm.
So I don't think you would go through the embarrassment or having to now explain to people that you're not a fiance anymore. But to me, I had never been a fiance because I didn't feel like that was a proper proposal. I didn't feel like I never felt like a fiance from the beginning. I always felt like at some point, if he was ever to change, if he was ever to do right, he would do that proposal in the way that we were both in agreement of, okay, we're taking the next step, and he would do it in the way that he knew I would have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So breaking off the engagement to me wasn't a big thing. It was just a breakup of a relationship for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he showed a lot of shock in the whole fact of you're breaking off the engagement. I said yes, and he said why. I explained to him that at this particular moment I can't be both, and you want both. And I also explained to him that I'm now surrounded by people who show me that what I do is enough. And where I can't do things, they actually help me out. So it's kind of opened up my eyes to the things that you were lacking in. And I mentioned that when I was working, you were not helping even with the cooking, so I would have to cook. And his comment was, you know what? You're right. I'm disappointed in myself. Even if my daughter was dating someone who didn't do that, I would discourage her from dating that person. And I said, exactly. So I'm not going to be dating you. And then he started crying over the phone. I don't know if it was real or if it was fake, but I kept on saying, I have to go now. I have to go now, until I hung up. And that was the last communication we had.
Thank God for that. Because everything you've just described is literally aligned to every single one of the lessons that you pointed towards. I could have dug in a little deeper into asking you questions about why you would have been around a situation that you knew was clearly bad for you. Because one of the three things here that struck out was he was verbally abusive, right? He was financially manipulative. And then he was also sexually abusive. So in the whole mix of all of this, for somebody listening from the outside, it should be quite easy for you to leave. But you've explained why it was difficult for you to leave. And I think a lot of it is really roped into the intimacy side of things. For you, it's not just about having a physical experience. It's very deeply emotional for you.
Exactly.
Because even when you think about the fact that the moment he touched your back, just getting your back touched, you're like, hey, you're saying to your friend, I'm not sure if I'm going to survive this, this is going to be a problem. So you kind of knew.
Exactly.
And I understand that, that side of things. I just hope that it has inspired a spirit within you to say that there's more to a no than thinking it and not acting on it. which is in terms of your conscience told you from day one, then no, this is not a good idea. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
And now that you've had the experience of somebody who's got a child, somebody, I think there's a lot of experiences that have come out of this.
Correct.
That I would secretly hope would help inform some of the decisions going forward. Hey, thanks, Chilesha, for sharing that. I'll just play back your lessons. Number 1, learn to be comfortable alone. Right, you can't constantly be in a relationship. You will never discover who you are outside of your partner. You couldn't have said this better, because I think you have learned a lot through this experience, and you probably taking time out to start cementing and building a value system in things that you can tolerate and things that you just can't tolerate.
Correct.
And then number 2, your standards mean nothing if you don't hold them up. Literally, yes. Yes. Because Instagram versus the phone, you stuck to that standard. I'm careful about my phone number. You're careful not to meet people who inspire you, because you can get disappointed. You're very clear about the standards you have. Yeah, and you did let some of them slide. You gave this guy too much wiggle room with something you could have said no to and stuck to your standard. Number 3, you can't change a person. You're not God. Amen to that. Number 4, you're not the exception. A person will treat you the same way that they treat everybody else around them. Yeah, I mean, especially for him, in his case. It didn't matter whether you were his wife, his sister, his daughter, whatever. He just treated people badly, as long as they weren't meeting a need, which was self-centered, and that was a financial need. Number 5, a person who is comfortable in seeing you suffer when they can lighten your load is not your partner. Yes. Number 6, unequally yoked shows in so many ways. I'm guessing some of this has got to do with the cultural component, right? Of the relationship, right?
Yes.
Number 7, sometimes changing environment brings clarity. That's amazing. And then last but not least, the only healthy competition in a relationship is who can love the other partner more. Run from the rest. I've not heard that being expressed like that. But I absolutely love it. Love it. Chilesha, thank you very much. And you guys have been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I'll catch you in next week's episode. Peace.
Tell me what you're feeling.
It sounds like you are ready to do that. Thanks, Chilesha.
Thank you.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Sati Zandaro Raini and Chagezai.
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Sati Zandaro Raini and Chagezai.
Let me talk about my feelings. Yeah.
Urudoi motoru noto kujiziro amai.
Love is a fire.
Urudoi motoru noto kujiziro amai.